more than a decade after the events of the first film. The film follows Jake and Sally through his humble and peaceful life as chief of the Ochikaya Clan, including his sons Neteyam and Roke, and his daughter. Talks about his wife Neytiri. The family was raised by Tuck, his adopted daughter Kili, born from Grace, Augustine's comatose Navi avatar, and a human boy named Spider, the son of Miles Quarich. Jake is able to accept Spider as his adopted son, but Neytiri distrusts him due to his human origins. Spiders do not carry on human heritage, preferring to embrace Navi culture and traditions. As a result, Quarich loses his memory of his death at Jake's hands, leaving only the events of the past and his vengeful mission to eliminate Jake. To prevent the RDA from exploiting Pandora again, Jake leads a strategic guerrilla operation against the RDA that is weakening the RDA's supply lines, prompting Jake to voice his fatherly concerns for the safety of his children. Meanwhile, a retaliatory attack on RDA's supply lines does not go well with Quaritch, who launches a search mission to kill Jake. Jake's children go on an expedition deep into the rainforest with Spider. A skirmish ensues and Quaritch's squad captures Jake's children. Jake and Neytiri arrive on time and free most of them, but Spider is kidnapped by Quaritch, who recognizes him as his son. On board, RDA tries to extort information about Jake from Spider, who refuses. When Jake realizes that the Spiders knowing his whereabouts endangers their safety and the danger of averting another catastrophe, Jake tells a reluctant Natalie and his family that the clan tell him to meet and force him to be expelled from the Ochikaya Clan. Persuaded to retire to the east coast of the island of Neteyam, with a lifestyle adapted to Pandora's aquatic habitat, Jake passes his master's cloak to his successor, leaving Neteyam with his family. Going to,
well,
once
it's been
there,
13
they are
years
greeted
since the
by
first
Chief
Avatar was
Tonori and his
released, and if
initially
you're like me,
suspicious
you
wife,
spent all
Ronald.
that time learning everything
However,
there is to
Jake
know about
explains
Pandora.
their situation and they agree to stay and are given protection. As some tribesmen tease Jake and his children
James
about
Cameron,
humanity's
who brought us
genetic
such hits as
heritage,
Titanic,
the family
the
learns
Terminator,
how
and Who
reef
Can
dwellers
Forget
are held in
Piranha
high
2, The
esteem.
Spawning, has returned to
Fascinated
this
by
alien
Neteyam's
planet with
aquatic
even
life,
more water than my
Kili forms a
third-class
spiritual
cabin. All
connection
jokes
with the
aside,
sea and its
Avatar: The
creatures.
Way of Water adds to the
Meanwhile,
rich lore of
Roke befriends
Pandora, and in this
Chileya,
video we'll be
daughter
taking
of
a
the
look at some of
Tonori
the film's
clan,
biggest
and her wife,
questions,
Ronald.
reveals, and what
As
it
they
could mean
adjust
for
to their new
Avatar 3.
surroundings,
So
Roke gets
Sahelu to
eyed
your Elu, I
into an
cringed a bit
argument
saying
when
that
Chileya's
because we have
brother
a lot to
Aoning
cover.
makes vulgar
It's
jokes
been
about him with
15 years
Kili
since
about
we
her
last
mixed
saw our
race.
favorite paraplegic
Jake
marine,
admonishes his
Jake
son
Sully.
for his
At the end of the
actions.
first film,
At
he had
Jake's
his
urging,
consciousnness
Roke
transferred
returns to
permanently
apologize
to his
to
avatar.
Aoning
If
and
you pay
his
close
friends.
attention, you'll notice
Crease,
the first and last
Acura
shots
tries
of
to
both
attack
films
Rourke.
are nearly
However,
identical.
the
They both
Rokus were
start with
rescued and
sprawling
befriended
vistas
by
of the
the
forest
Peahan,
and end with
Turkin,
close-ups
an
of
intelligent
Jake
and
ready to start
pacifist
a new
whale
chapter
species
of
whom
his
the
life.
Metkena
But a lot
consider
has
their
changed in the
spiritual
15
family.
years since Jake
Roke,
and the Navi
who can
fought off the
communicate with
rapacious
Peahan in
Resource
sign
Development
language,
Administration.
removes the ancient
company
harpoon
hell-bent
head
on
from the
procuring
beast's right fin.
unobtainium, humanity's most
Back in
coveted
Metkina,
resource
Chief
fundamental in
Tonori
creating
noticed
energy.
Rourke's
But as
ruse
we'll
in
find out
Aonung's
in the Way
hands
of
and
Water,
asked the
there's a
former
new
to
resource in
apologize to
town that
Rourke.
makes unobtainium
He is also
pale
told
in
that
comparison.
Payakan is
This
an
new
outcast of his
substance, drilled
species,
from the
and
frontal
Kiri
lobe
bonds
of
with him
highly
on a journey
intelligent
to a
creatures known as the
tributary of the Soul
Tulkun, is
Tree to
known
meet his
as
mother,
Amrita,
but
which
she suffers
translates
from
from
severe
Sanskrit,
seizures.
literally meaning
She is healed by
immortality.
Ronald,
And no wonder,
but
because
when
this
Jake
elixir
enlists Norm
stops
Spellman
aging.
and Max
My mom
Patel
is
for
going to be
help,
really
the
excited.
Quaritch is
But as
able
we
to
get
track
further
her to
along
an
in this video, we'll
archipelago
discuss how
populated
this
by the reef
substance,
people.
combined with the impending
Command a
destruction
whaling
of
ship
Earth,
that hunts
sets up
Turkin
an
and
even
harvests
larger
brain
battle
enzymes
for
to make
Avatar 3.
anti-aging medicines.
Jake's been busy in those 15
Quaritch
years
begins
getting
brutally
freaky with his
interrogating the
soulmate
natives
Neytiri.
about
They have
Jake's
3
whereabouts.
biological
If
children,
not,
the
he
eldest
orders whalers to
Neteyam,
kill
younger
Turkin
brother
and lure
Loak,
Jake
and
out.
little Tuktiri,
Lork
or
mentally
Tuk for
bonds
short.
with
And if
Peahan
that
and
wasn't
learns
enough,
that
they've
Turkun was
adopted
kicked
2
out for
others.
defying the
first
ways of
is
his
Miles
species and
Spider,
attacking the whalers who
a
killed
human
his
child
mother.
who was left
When
orphaned on
Metkena learned
Pandora.
of Turkin's
Being too young
struggles,
to make the
Lork
journey
set
back
out
to
to
Earth
warn
via
Peahan,
cryosleep, he was
followed
taken
by
in by
his
the
brothers
Sullys, and it
Chileya
makes
and
for an
Aoning.
excellent Tarzan origin
They find
story. What makes
Peahan
Spider
hunted by
even
whalers and
spicier is
Lork,
his parentage.
Kili,
His
and Tuk
biological
held
father
captive by
is Avatar
Quaritch.
1's main
With their
villain,
children in
Miles
danger,
Quarich.
Jake,
His mother,
Neytiri,
Paz Socorro,
and
who we
Metkina
meet in the
confront the
Avatar
humans.
graphic novel The High
Quaritch
Ground, was
forces
killed
Jake
while
to surrender.
piloting a scorpion
However,
during the
seeing
assault
that
on the
his
Tree
soul
of
brother
Souls,
was in
leaving
danger,
him orphaned.
Peahan
The other
attacked the
adopted
whaling
child
ship,
and far
killing
more
most of her
mysterious
crew
of
and
the
provoking
two
a
is
battle
Kiri,
that
who was
severely
birthed from
damaged
Dr.
and sank
Grace
the ship.
Augustine's brain-dead
Saves Rourke
avatar.
and Spider,
We never
but is
find
shocked.
out who
Jake
Kiri's
confronts
real
the
father
Quaritch,
is, although
who is
some of the
holding
characters
Kiri
joke
hostage.
Norman Grace's
When Neytiri
avatars
does the
got
same
it
to
on,
Spider,
but I'm inclined to
Quaritch
think there's
disowns
something
his son
more
at first,
spiritual
but
and
relents when
supernatural
Neytiri
at
slices
play here.
Spider
If you
into
listen
the chest.
closely during the scene where they
Jake,
talk about
Quaritch,
Kiri's father,
Neytiri,
you can
and
hear a
Tok arrive
recording
at the
of Dr.
sunken
Grace
ship.
in the background
Jake
talk about her
decapitated
theories
Quaritch
on the
and knocked
planet's
him
biology.
unconscious.
Her
He
lines
was
here
saved
are
by Rourke
directly
and
taken from the
Peahan,
first
and
movie, in
Kiri
which she
summoned sea
theorizes
creatures to
everything
save
on
Neytiri
Pandora
and
is
Tok.
connected.
Jake's
Combine
family,
this with the
leading
recurring
him to
belief among the
rejoin
Navi
Jake's
that
family.
when one life
After
ends, another
Neteyam's funeral,
begins, and that
Jake and
energy
his
as we
family
know it is
decide to
simply
stay with the
transferred
Metkana
and
family
borrowed from
permanently.
one another, including life energy. It's entirely possible that during Jake's attempt to save Grace at the end of the first movie, her energy wasn't transferred into the Avatar, rather the Avatar's womb. This would mean that Kiri's birth was that of, for lack of a better word, immaculate conception by Eywa, or the Navi's god. And I'm inclined to believe this theory, considering the supernatural type of powers Kiri seems to possess. First, the seeds of the sacred tree seem to be drawn to her. In the first movie, Neytiri teaches us that these seeds are a good sign. It's actually what stops her from killing Jake the first time she discovers him. And the first time we see Kiri, she's almost in this trance-like state on the ground, as if communing with the earth. And of course, she has these weird abilities that we've never seen any of the other Navi do. There's even a scene where she tells Jake that she can hear Eywa. So it's clear that we're just scratching the surface of Kiri's abilities, and I think she'll be the most important character when it comes to an eventual confrontation with the humans. Clearly, a fully armed human force could wipe out the Navi, but maybe the Navi can stand a chance if they have someone who can harness the power of Eywa. Now, things seem to be going just swell for the Sullys until the RDA rears its ugly head. Seems as though their brutal defeat after the failed assault on the Tree of Souls wasn't going to keep them at bay for long. Returning with them is Colonel Miles Quarich, now in Navi form. An avatar was created just for him and instilled with his personality and memories. Think of it as a very expensive backup copy. It's a win-win for the RDA and Quarich. The company gets these Navi soldiers instilled with the training of Marines to infiltrate the rebels, while Quarich gets a second chance at life and the ability to seek out his revenge. Quarich is under the command of General Ardmore. She isn't in the film much, but I suspect she'll play a larger role as the battle between Navi and the humans intensifies. Things have gotten much worse for Earth since we last checked in, and General Ardmore tells us that Earth will soon be uninhabitable, and thus Pandora must be taken over so they can rebuild anew. Getting in the way of this plan is Jake Sully and the Ochikaya Clan, the forest tribe we met in the first film. They've been raiding key supply lines and really putting a damper on the RDA's foothold on the planet. Any attempt to breach their stronghold in the sky is met with fierce resistance, and the Tree of Souls' unique flux vortex makes it impossible for the RDA's advanced instruments to give them a battlefield advantage. Thus, Avatar Quarich is tasked with killing Jake Sully commando style and getting him out of the picture. The Sullys, however, decide to leave their clan when Spider is captured, and Jake finds out he's being hunted by Quarich. He gives up his status as Olo Ekatan, or clan leader. He knows it's better to leave the clan rather than stay and put them in danger. It's not that he's a coward, he just knows that this is best for his people. Over the course of his journey, he'll learn that running isn't the answer. He must stay and fight, which is essentially what he says in the film's final moments. This journey leads him to Awa Atlu, a Metkana village on one of Pandora's thousands of islands. This clan refers to themselves as Reef People and share some distinct differences from their Ochikaya counterparts, such as webbed hands and more robust tails for swimming. Even though he knows the danger, clan leader Tonowari takes them in after they invoke Oturu, a plea for sanctuary. And just like Jake had to grow accustomed to a new life among the Ochikaya in Avatar, his whole family must adjust to life by the sea. This includes how to swim, taming creatures known as Ilu, and dodging glances by the Navi equivalent of a Bond girl. The RDA tracks down Jake to the sea, but rather than go island to island burning everything in their path, Quaritch decides to lure Jake out by slaughtering these giant whale-like creatures known as Tulkun. As we learn from Dr. Garvin, these creatures are insanely smart and have a strong bond with the reef people. Every year they migrate and meet up with various members of the clan in which they share stories, songs, and life. Thus, killing a Tulkun is seen by the Metkayina as murdering one of their own and a declaration of war. Of particular interest is Loak and the bond he makes with a Tulkun named Payakan. The two are similar in that they are outcasts. Loak always tries to help and prove himself as a warrior, but seems to always screw it up. In the eyes of Jake, he feels like a disappointment. That's why it's so heartwarming when in the end, he's the one who saves his father. Jake will say the iconic Navi line, "I see you," to him to acknowledge this. Payakan was outcast for committing murder, something that is forbidden among the Tulkun, but later we'll learn that he was simply trying to defend his family from vicious Tulkun hunters like Scoresby, who, if you haven't seen the movie, has the coolest death with his arm getting chopped off, just like he was responsible for chopping off Payakan's fin. It's when Loak goes to warn Payakan that the RDA is on the way, he, Saraya, and Took are captured by Quaritch. Now Quaritch has the ultimate leverage in getting Jake to hand himself in, and when it seems like Quaritch has won the day, Payakan free willies into their boat. This allows the Metkayina to launch an attack. In an attempt to save his siblings, Loak's older brother Neteyam is mortally shot. It's the film's big death and motivates Jake and Neytiri to finish Quaritch once and for all. They know he'll continue to hunt them until he's dead. The final act of the film focuses on a one-on-one battle between Jake and Quaritch in which this absolutely massive RDA ship slowly capsizes like the Poseidon Adventure. In the fray, Neytiri tries to save Took but gets sucked into the bowels of the ship, and only by using Kiri's ability to channel these glowing sea creatures are they rescued and brought to safety. Jake and Quaritch duke it out, with Jake putting Quaritch in a sleeper hold, but both men seemingly drown. But don't hold your breath, Jake is saved by Loak, and in a far more interesting turn of events, Spider ends up saving Quaritch. But why would he do that? Especially considering a few moments later, when they make it to the surface, Spider decides not to go back with him, rather remain with his real family, the Sullys. First of all, there must have been a lot going through this kid's head. This is his dad and his only living blood, and by saving him, he actually proves to his father he's not like him. He's doing the very opposite thing Quaritch would have done. Second, a few scenes earlier, Spider had a knife pulled on him by his very own adoptive mother when she tries to use this as leverage against Quaritch. Quaritch actually ends up doing what she asks, proving he has some feelings towards his son. This event has major ramifications for the next film. First, we never see Spider tell the others that he let Quaritch go. For all they know, Quaritch is dead. Will he tell them, or will it be something that blows up in his face in the next film? Second, if my adoptive mother held a knife at my throat and threatened to kill me, you'd bet I'd lose all trust in her. Neytiri mentions throughout the film that Spider should be with his own kind, so the psychological effect all this is going to have on him will be huge. It feels like they're setting him up to be a villain, but my guess is that in the end he'll do the right thing. Neteyam is given a traditional Metkayina funeral where his body returns to the sea. It is said that we come from the sea, and after we die, that is where we go, so it's only fitting we see him return there. Neteyam even takes the fetal position, further signifying this connection between life and death. Neytiri adds a bead to this device known as a song cord, which acts as a family or clan's history, each bead telling a significant moment or event in time. It's accompanied by a song sung by Neytiri once at the beginning of the film when her kids are introduced, and again at the end when they mourn the loss of their child. But on Pandora, the dead are never fully gone. By accessing the underwater tree at the Cove of the Ancestors, Sully and Neytiri can visit him as part of their memory. But where does this leave us going forward? The Sullys are officially welcomed into the Metkayina clan, and Jake says that he is done with running. He will fight. And no doubt there will be serious repercussions for the Navi after their victory. We know from General Ardmore that humanity needs Pandora to survive, which will undoubtedly culminate in an all-out war between all the tribes of Pandora and the RDA. We barely scratched the surface when it comes to all the various tribes of Pandora, and you can bet Jake will take up the mantle as leader to unite them all. Avatar 3, which is still yet to be titled, is set for a 2024 release, so if you'll excuse me, I have to be put into cryosleep until then. Thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think of Avatar: The Way of Water? I want to hear your thoughts below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember...
Is sex like when the Navi intertwine their hair braids?
Sure.